find a heroic example. 2, narrow it down. Narrow it down to why exactly that example, that person. And then, I know it sounds counterintuitive, really look at widening your search. Hi, I'm talking about one of my favorite topics in the whole wide world, and that is heroes. Heroes are beacons of hope when things don't always look terrific. And by the way, if you like the approach we've been taking where we say, look, if we're going to suggest something, we'll give you 3 hints. Please like or subscribe, or I don't know, forward it to somebody that you think might enjoy it as well. We'd appreciate having you in the community on a permanent basis. Okay, heroes. You know, a lot of people have said that you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I'd like to expand upon that just a little bit. I believe that you're also the sum of the 5 people that you admire the most, the 5 actions that you admire the most. And that can help you become a better version of yourself as well. You know, sometimes heroic examples give us a hint about how to become a better version of ourselves, you know, a version of ourselves that shine mentally and physically, the best version of ourselves that we can be. And sometimes we see in people who are flawed heroes the kinds of things that we'd like to avoid, the kinds of things that we decide maybe not for us. And there are lessons on both sides of that spectrum. But here is what I would like you to consider. There are heroes among us. Okay? Not just people who stride the world stage and win Nobel Prizes. I'm not saying anything against those folks. I think they do amazing work. But people who care enough to make a difference. And let me give you an example. One of my absolute favorite podcasts is Hidden Brain. And there was a feature in a lot of Hidden Brain episodes that was so popular that the Hidden Brain production crew, headed by Shankar Vedantam, decided this is really the germ of a really great new series. And so if you look wherever you get your podcasts, there is a series called My Unsung Hero. And I love it. In part because some of these people never even got a chance to learn the name or meet their hero under slightly less stressful circumstances. Of course, there was also the gentleman who became a university instructor in English because of a 3rd grade English teacher who showed him the manliness and the applicability of poetry to a young man who said, look, I'm pretty sure none of this has anything to do with me or any of the men in my family. And she gave him Ulysses. And from then on, he was hooked. Because teachers are absolutely some of our best heroes. As a matter of fact, I have to say, one of my best heroes is someone who didn't set out to be my teacher. She is my aunt. She is the lady I call Mom. She taught me by example, and she provided me with the most amazing books. I mean, not many people would give a 9-year-old a book called Tales from Shakespeare. But it's a perfect vehicle for a kid to learn about the power of stories and characters in Shakespeare. So I owe her an enormous debt of gratitude for that. Wow. Heroes can be based in larger than life people whose actions actually affect millions of people. I would like you to also, though, consider the impact of people who have affected the world one person at a time. One act of kindness or bravery or care at a time. So take a look at the people around you. If you're stuck for a heroic example that you too can relate to, Well, maybe it's time to leave poetry and history in their proper places and look around you at the people. I take my own advice on occasion. It's a healthy thing to do, I think. And the other day, as I was noodling about this idea for this particular video lesson, I thought about what I had said about finding a heroic example, narrowing it down to what it was that you thought made that action or that person heroic, and then kind of widen the search. Look for people that probably would never call themselves heroes. And I was on my way into the grocery store, and sure enough, I met one. There was somebody who was climbing into his car. He just finished loading up all of his groceries when he saw a lady whose grocery cart was trying to go in a completely different direction than she was trying to go. It happens. You see, we just had a whole series of tornadoes whip through the area to horrific effect in some places. We were very lucky. What we got was just a lot of wind. But this lady was not a massive individual physically. I mean, she came up to here on me, and I'm only 5'2". So when it came to her and a grocery cart full of groceries and supplies and a very ferocious wind, well, let's just say it wasn't difficult to predict what's going to happen. Except I couldn't have predicted what was going to happen. The gentleman who was getting in his car, he was done. He was ready to leave. Took one look at the situation, jumped out of his car, ran over, planted his hands on the cart, and just said, "Where are you going?" Now that he was holding it, she could actually let go of the cart. And she said, "Over there?" He said, "Okay. Let's move your cart closer to where you're trying to get to." He not only helped her to rescue the journey from store to car with a cart that was being thrown around by the wind, but he also took the time to help her unload. And then he took the cart and parked it in the cart corral for her. I stood there watching. He walked back towards his car, which was parked right next to mine, and I put my hand on his elbow and I said, "Thank you. Thank you very much. I was just trying to figure out what to do, and you took action, and I know she appreciated it, but so did I." No more than anybody else would do. You see, we do have everyday heroes wandering around. He got into his car. He left. He probably didn't even give it a second thought after he left the parking lot. But maybe that's the kind of heroism we need. The heroism that comes out of an instinct to be a decent human being, an instinct to care about what's going on with the people around you, and the willingness to extend yourself to help where you can. So look for heroic examples. Might be a little bit closer to home. And then nail it down. Why is it that that particular behavior or that particular person or their actions struck a chord in your heart? And remember, broaden your search. Aside from being extraordinarily heartwarming, it can also renew your faith. Your faith in basic goodness of some people and the potential for goodness in everyone. I'm KimiKSP. This video was brought to you by the Leadership Driven Project Management Academy, and we wish you all the best. Thank you for joining us.